Let me ask you something real. Have you ever been betrayed? Not by an enemy, not by some stranger on the street, but by someone close. Someone you laughed with, ate with, trusted. Someone who once looked you in the eye and said, "I've got your back," only to turn around and disappear without a word. One day, they were by your side. The next, gone. And no call. No text. No explanation. Just silence. And you're left staring at the empty space they left behind, asking yourself, what did I do wrong? But here's something most people don't realize. And it might change everything for you. What if that wasn't betrayal? What if that was protection? What if the silence wasn't abandonment? It was an answer. See, sometimes we ask God for clarity. We say, "Lord, show me the truth. Help me see what's real." And we expect something gentle, peaceful, obvious. But truth doesn't always show up in the way we imagine. Sometimes, truth shows up as a closed door. As a friendship that falls apart. As a phone that stops ringing. Because when you ask for truth, God doesn't just reveal the light. He reveals the lies too. He removes the people who were never really for you. The ones who smiled in your face but hoped you'd fail behind your back. And I get it. It hurts. Losing people always does. But what if losing them was the blessing? Think about it. How many times have you looked back and said, "Wow, I had no idea what was happening at the time, but I see it now. That person was never really in my corner." Hindsight is 20/20. But what if you could start trusting the process while it's happening? What if instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you asked, "What is this trying to teach me?" Look, some people are seasonal. They come into your life to play a role, and when their scene is done, they exit stage left. And that's okay. You don't need everyone to walk with you forever. You just need the right ones to walk with you now. So if you're in that place, that raw, confusing space where people you loved are suddenly gone, I want you to hear this. It's not your fault. You're not broken, and you're not alone. God heard the prayers you whispered at night, and He answered, just not in the way you expected. He removed what was fake, so He could make room for what's real. Stay with me, because in this video, we're diving deep into what divine protection really looks like, and why sometimes, the greatest act of love, is letting go. You ever prayed for wisdom? You know, those quiet moments when you're overwhelmed, confused, maybe even broken, and you whisper, "God, please, show me what I need to see. Help me make the right choice." Maybe it was about a relationship, a job, a friendship that felt off, or just life in general when nothing made sense anymore. And when we pray like that, for wisdom, for direction, for clarity, we usually imagine the answer will come like a sunrise. Gentle, warm, beautiful. Like suddenly, all the pieces will click together, and life will just make sense. But let me be honest with you. That's not always how clarity shows up. Sometimes, clarity feels more like heartbreak, like disappointment, like betrayal. Because here's the truth no one really talks about. When you ask God for clarity, you're not just asking Him to show you what's right. You're also asking Him to show you what's wrong. You're asking Him to reveal what's real, which means He has to uncover what's fake. And that can hurt like hell. Because sometimes that clarity means realizing the people you love the most were never really for you. You've got too much purpose, too much calling, too much destiny ahead of you. And God's not going to let that get sabotaged by counterfeit connections. So the next time someone walks away, or something falls apart, or you see a side of someone you wish you hadn't, pause before you panic, and ask yourself, is this clarity? Is this mercy in disguise? Because sometimes, God doesn't just answer your prayers with a yes or no. Sometimes, He answers with a reveal. Let's be honest, betrayal breaks something in you. It's not just sadness. It's trauma. It shakes your foundation. Because it doesn't come from a stranger. It comes from someone you let close. Someone you trusted with your heart, your time, your truth. And when they walk away, or worse, when they turn on you, it doesn't just hurt. It makes you question everything. But here's what I've learned, and maybe you've lived this too. Behind every heartbreak, there's a hidden revelation, and it usually sounds like this. Not everyone who's around you is truly with you. Sometimes, people are in your life for what they can get from you, not what they can give. Sometimes they're cheering, but only as long as you stay below them. And when you start growing, glowing, or going in a new direction, the real ones stick. The others slip. And as painful as it is, that pain has purpose. Sometimes, rejection is really just redirection. You thought you were being abandoned, but God was simply guiding you away from what would have broken you worse in the long run. Sometimes, pain is preparation. It toughens your spirit, sharpens your discernment, teaches you who you are and who you're not. Think about it. The people who hurt you the most, they often revealed what you never would have seen on your own. They showed you what fake loyalty looks like. They exposed what manipulation feels like. They taught you how to trust your gut next time and set better boundaries. That doesn't excuse what they did, but it does give that pain a purpose. Because here's the truth, healing doesn't start when they apologize. It starts when you stop waiting for closure and start building your healing. Closure is overrated anyway. Most of the time, the people who hurt you will never give you the answers you're looking for. They can't or they won't or maybe they don't even know why they did what they did. So you could spend years waiting for that text, that call, that moment. Or you could say enough. I choose to heal. I choose to move forward. Your healing isn't dependent on their remorse. It's dependent on your decision. And maybe, just maybe, the pain you're feeling right now is the soil where something stronger, wiser, and freer is about to grow. Let me say something that might hit close to home. Stop chasing what God is trying to remove. I know that sounds harsh. I know it's not easy. But some of us are out here exhausting ourselves, fighting to keep access to people who've already left the room. We keep texting. We keep reaching out. We keep trying to explain ourselves to people who never truly saw us to begin with. But here's the truth. God doesn't remove people from your life out of cruelty. He does it out of purpose. Because elevation requires separation. You can't rise to your next level carrying what was only meant for your last. You can't step into your calling still tied to people who were only part of your comfort zone. And that doesn't make them bad people. It just means their role in your story has ended. Look, some people are in your life for a reason. Some for a season. But not all of them are meant to walk with you into the next chapter. And when we try to drag what's expired into our future, we slow ourselves down. We get stuck. We wonder why we feel so heavy. When the truth is, we're carrying bags that were never meant to make the flight. You can't soar when your soul is anchored to what's already been cut loose. So yes, it's okay to grieve it. It's okay to miss what you had. It's okay to cry over what you thought would last. But don't go back to what God has already delivered you from. There's a reason it ended. There's a reason the call stopped. There's a reason your spirit felt uneasy in their presence. God saw what you couldn't see. He heard conversations you weren't in. And He made a move you didn't understand. Not to punish you, but to protect you. So what if this moment of loss is actually the setup for your next breakthrough? What if letting go is the very thing that makes space for what's truly meant for you? You don't have to chase what's already walking away. You don't have to beg to be kept where you were never meant to stay. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is release it with peace. Let go, not because it didn't matter, but because you finally understand it's not part of what's next. Let's talk about something most of us don't want to admit out loud. You want justice. You want answers. You want them to feel even a fraction of the pain they caused you. And honestly, that's human. It's normal to want the truth exposed. To want the lies uncovered. To want the people who hurt you to finally get what they deserve. But here's the hard truth. Vengeance doesn't heal you. Peace does. It doesn't matter how satisfying the fantasy of revenge might feel in your mind. It never fills the hole that betrayal leaves behind. It never makes you whole again. Because healing doesn't come from hurting back. And this is where trust comes in. Not trust in people, but trust in God. Because God doesn't miss a thing. He saw it. He heard every lie whispered behind your back. He watched every manipulation they pulled. He felt your heartbreak in the silence when you couldn't even explain what was happening. God doesn't sleep on justice. He's not ignoring what they did, but His timing and His justice don't always look the way we expect. While you're waiting for them to get what's coming, God is saying, I'll handle it. But you? I need you to heal. I need you to grow. I need you to move forward, not stay chained to what broke you. Because the longer you stay fixated on their punishment, the longer you stay emotionally tied to them. And you deserve better than that. You deserve peace. You deserve freedom. You deserve to be defined by your future, not your past. So let your life be your loudest response. Let your growth be the closure. Let your peace be the proof that you're no longer wounded, you're wise. Because here's what they don't expect. They don't expect you to move on with joy. They don't expect you to walk in purpose. They don't expect your life to flourish without them. But that's exactly what healing looks like. You don't have to get even. You just have to get better. And there is nothing that silences betrayal more powerfully than a life that's still standing, strong, full of peace, and deeply rooted in grace. So let God handle the justice. And you rise. Let me reframe something for you. You didn't lose a friend. You lost a lie. You didn't lose love. You gained clarity. That relationship that fell apart, it didn't break you. It built you. Because what they meant to use against you, God is now using for you. And I know it might not feel like that right now. I know the silence hurts. I know the memories sting. I know part of you still asks, was any of it real? But here's the truth. If someone walked away when you were being real, honest, loyal, they didn't leave you. They left the version of you they couldn't manipulate anymore. And that's not your loss. That's their limit. The pain might have slowed you down for a season, but it didn't stop you. It shaped you. It stripped away your illusions and left you with something far more powerful, perspective. You're wiser now. You see red flags faster. You listen to your intuition instead of silencing it for the sake of keeping the peace. You're stronger now. Because once you've been through betrayal and heartbreak and still got back up, there's not much this world can throw at you that you can't handle. You're clearer now. About who you are. About what you deserve. About what kind of energy you'll never tolerate again. So no, you didn't lose. You learned. You learned that not everyone clapping for you wants you to win. You learned that silence can be an answer. You learned that peace is better than forced connection. So stop replaying the scenes that broke you. Stop going over the what-ifs, the whys, the could-have-beens. Because the past can only teach you. It can't lead you. Start rebuilding from the wisdom it gave you. Start showing up for yourself the way you used to show up for people who didn't value you. Start stepping into the version of you that pain revealed, not the one it tried to destroy. Because here's the most powerful thing of all. You didn't just survive. You transformed. And that version of you, the one that learned, healed, and grew, that's the one who's about to walk into everything they were always meant for. Just because something ended doesn't mean you're finished. Let me say that again for the heart that still feels stuck. Their exit wasn't your ending. It was simply a page turning in your story, not the whole book closing. Because your story, it's still being written. And what's coming next is so much greater than what left. I know it hurts when people walk away, especially the ones you never imagined life without. But just because someone was part of your journey, doesn't mean they were part of your destiny. The people who left, they served a purpose, but they were never your final chapter. And here's what's beautiful. The people who are meant for your next season, they're coming. The ones who see you, who honor your heart, not just your health, who show up for you, not just when it's convenient, but when it matters. You are walking into a future where your energy will be respected, not drained. Where your presence will be valued, not used. Where love won't come with conditions, comparisons, or confusion. You're stepping into alignment with your purpose, with your peace, with people who bring light, not shadows. And no, it might not look like what you expected. It might not come from where you thought it would. But trust this, God never subtracts without multiplying something greater later. You're being repositioned, not punished. Prepared, not forgotten. And if you can just keep going, if you can keep showing up for yourself, if you can trust that healing isn't a pause, it's a process, then you'll start to see it. The conversations that feel like home. The rooms where you don't have to shrink to fit. The relationships that remind you, this is how it should feel. Because the future, it's not behind you. It's not tied to what you lost. It's in front of you. So don't stay stuck at the doorway of what left. Walk forward, not because you've figured everything out, but because you're choosing to believe, even with the scars, even with the tears, that what's ahead is still worth moving toward. You didn't miss your chance. You're not too late. You're right on time, and the future, it's still yours. So today, I want to invite you to do something bold, something that might not feel easy, but will absolutely set you free. Make peace with the past, not because everything made sense, not because they said sorry, but because you're choosing peace over pieces. Let go of the need to have all the answers. Release the replay of what if and why me, and instead, thank God for what He revealed, even if it came with pain, because truth, even when it hurts, is still a gift. You prayed for clarity, you prayed for protection, you asked for purpose. And sometimes, the answer to that prayer is a door closing. A friendship fading. A version of you being stripped away so the real one can rise. So declare this, right here, right now. God, thank you for showing me what I needed to see. Thank you for removing what I was too afraid to release. Thank you for the truth, even when it hurt, because it led me here. You're not broken. You're becoming. You're not bitter. You're better. You're not abandoned. You're being aligned. Aligned with purpose. Aligned with people who see you clearly. Aligned with a future that doesn't require pretending. You've outgrown the rooms where you had to shrink. You outlived the lies that tried to define you. And now you get to rebuild. From truth. From wisdom. From strength you didn't even know you had. So don't let your past set the tone for your future. Don't let one chapter convince you the story is over. Because it's not. You're not at the end. You're at the beginning of something real. Something whole. Something new. This is your time to rise. To live with clarity. To love with boundaries. To walk forward without the weight of what was. You're just getting started.